to what's looking like potentially one of the most exciting matchups of the weekend. You
Yep.
have the Dolphins, Ricky Stewart's 900, sorry, not Ricky Stewart, Wayne Bennett's 900th game. So that's a massive accomplishment in himself. He'll take on his 900th game as coach. They're taking on Craig Fitzgibbon's Cronulla Sharks. Obviously, they're head-to-head. Neither of these teams have played each other. The Sharks have come in 4 from their last 5 wins. The Dolphins are going in a bit of a win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They've won 2 of their last 5. Both have showed that they can score points, 237 to 212, and points conceded. Obviously, the Sharks have conceded 155, and the Dolphins 223. So my question, obviously, Baxter, looking at these stats, we've seen that the Dolphins, can fight back, but can leak a lot of points is the second option. So Sharks, you saw last week firsthand what they can do to a side if they start slow. Is the points scored, points conceded a bit of a concern here for the Dolphins?
Well, yeah, I think it is. And they need to rectify it early before they get into the back end of the season, because come, round 20, right, and you sit at, let's just say they sit at 20 points and they're sitting around 6th, 7th, 8th position, right? And they've still got this negative for and against. So all it takes is one team to have a positive for and against to be equal points, and they push them out. And what a sight we don't want to see happen with the Dolphins' first year not make finals football. So if they can rectify that early on, I think it would be all systems go for the Dolphins for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it is. We've seen, obviously, the first game against the Roosters, their first game in NRL, how big it was, the performance they put in. We then saw their first game, obviously, in the derby against Brisbane. Yes, they didn't get the result, but they definitely stood up with players out. We now have Wayne Bennett's 900th. Now, I'm not saying they are a moments team, but I will say that they do get up for moments. Wayne can get his team up for moments, and I think they're going to have a cracking game this weekend. But let's look at the Sharks lineup first. You've got William Kennedy, Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramian, Talakai, Ronaldo Militalo, Matt Moylan, Nico Hines, Oregon Kafusi, Blake Brayley, Royce Hunt, Britton Nakora, Teague Wilton, Dale Finucane to round out the third team with the bench of Cameron McInnes, Jack Williams, Raid Graham, and Thomas Hazelton. 18th man, you've got Braden Trindle with Connor Tracy, Jesse, not pronouncing your last name, Mariri Hirote, and Jaden Burrell. So Baxter, a strong squad for the Sharks. Like I said, you saw firsthand what this side can do. Obviously, a bit of negative news out of last week. Obviously, Brandon Henlon-Ueli is out for at least a month. He has injured his MCL. Obviously, that does bring Royce Hunt into this lineup with Dale Finucane coming back to the bench. So it is a very good squad. They are going to give an absolute crack. But what do you make of this squad? What do you make of the Sharks moving forward? And how do you think, I guess, Craig Fitzgibbon, a rookie coach, is going to go up against one of the masters of rugby league?
Excuse me, but I think he's going to go. I reckon he's going to do terrifically. I reckon this side is very, very good on paper and very, very good on the field. And they're just the defense has been such a core key point for them. I know last year they did so well in the regular season, getting second, got a home semi-final, and they went out in back-to-back sets of finals appearance. So I believe Craig Fitzgibbon would have had this defense pinned up as one of their core missions for this year, to be defensively strong and sound. And I think they have been for the first 9 rounds of this season. So I think going into this game, it's going to be a really good one, especially for midday, the mid game on Saturday in Magic Round.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game midday. Obviously, like we just spoke about in the game before this, you do have a cracker. It could be an absolute cracker before it. You lead into this game at 5:30. They're playing the Dolphins. I can tell you right now, I think if this is a bold prediction, but I would say that majority of the fans aren't Broncos fans at Suncorp this weekend. They're going to be Dolphin fans. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be one animal versus the other, the kin of the sea. One of them's going to survive. But Baxter, I'll throw it to you. Talk to me about the Dolphins.
Yeah, you got the hammer in the fullback role, Jermaine Asako and Tessie New in the wing positions. Ewan Aiken and Breaker Lee in the centres. Cody Nicarima and Isaiah Kutoa in the halves pairing. Jesse Bromwich and Kenneth Bromwich in the forward role. JMK, Jerry Marshall King in the hooker position. Khalees Kafusi and Connolly Lemu in the second row. Tom McGilbert in the lock. Jared Wallace, Anthony Milford, Macy Talangi, Herman SASA in the bench position with Kurt Donahue in the 18th man jersey. Big Poa Asi Famama Usi. Look, I try to pronounce your last name, but it's failed. I think he's related to Big Tino. Edric Lee, B.T. Ware, and J.J. Collins. What an easy name. See, just get easy names, fellas. Just easier names. Again, solid on the park, solid on paper. This is a team that I believe will be up for the occasion, especially with the old man's 900th game in the NRL. I have already circled my predictions on paper here, but I really, really want to change it with some information I'm receiving.
Well, you can't just say with some information you're receiving. Like, you got to give me a bit more than that.
I can't tell you just yet. There might be some shifty players shifting. I don't know if it's true or not. So I don't know if I should change it or I should just stick with it, because whatever we say on the pod is concrete. It is final. There is no changing afterwards.
Well, let's talk about what we do know. Obviously, Ray Stone, he is out with concussion. Robert Jennings is also out of his side. There is potential, and I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, but obviously Brenko Lee has been named at this stage. There's a big chance that he doesn't make it with the hamstring injuries that he does have. So that's something that could come out. Obviously, having Anthony Milford in that 15, is there an issue in the halves? We'll have to wait and see. But there is a lot of possibilities that could change here. Both sides could have an absolute crack, but I can't in my right mind. And you know what? If I'm wrong, so be it. Egg on my face. I'll own up to it on the review show. But I can't tip against the Sharks. I can't see a world where the Sharks come into this game and don't win the game, especially Nico Hines fighting for that jersey. The forward pack's behind him. The fullback's behind him. They're doing absolute brilliant. So I'm going to go to Sharks. Oh, I'm going to go 1-12. I'm going to give the Dolphins some. They know that it is a home game, so I'm going to go to Sharks 1-12.
Well, no, you didn't touch on my supposed information as of yet. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Sharks 13 plus.
Sharks 13 plus. We can have a little bit of a chat off the air, so we won't say it on the air just in case whatever it is does not come true. But like you said, I've tried to change my tips before. You've pulled me back, but
lucky I didn't allow you to change your tips for you.
Yeah, 100%. Lucky you didn't, but you know what they say, what's on the pod stays on the pod. So 1-12 Sharks, 13 plus Sharks for yourself. Like I said, it's just a hard one to tip against the Sharks, but I do have to say, every time I think the Dolphins are going to get blown up, they impress me. They show me I'm an absolute idiot for what I say. And obviously, I hope J-Mac has a great game. So I hope he does pull his side in and they score a few points. But Baxter.